Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, get used to it.
It's different.
Get used to it.
Do you mind introducing yourself?
Okay, my name is Kaydence Day.
Okay.
I'm a music artist, songwriter, performer, song arranger, and producer in the making.
Kelly on the drum.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very nice for you to come through and do a sign language interview. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I feel like I'm ashy or something. I don't know. But so I told you on through text how I really enjoy your music, obviously.
Yeah.
So I posted. And you know how we were talking about like Black Love and all that? I think your album, The Recliner, is like almost like the soundtrack to what Black Love is.
Really?
Yeah, I like it. Oh my God.
I've never heard that before. I like that. I like it. That's my favorite compliment of the year for that album.
Yeah. So how did you go about, how did this album come about? And why have you not been making music or releasing music? I was looking. You got Taco Tuesday?
I do. So, okay, first question, how did The Recliner come to be? So I started professionally releasing music in 2019. And at that time, like I was working a full-time job. And I was like, okay, I have the money to do what I need to do. But it was very important for me to kind of learn the business of music before starting to put out music because I didn't want to put something out and it was good and then I get sued for something. So,
What do you mean?
So like, whenever you're doing music, if you're not using music that you personally produce, you have to buy the track lease out.
And beats ain't free.
And I mean, those can get expensive.
Yes.
So I was just like, okay, I got the money to purchase the leases that I wanted. So I had already released my first song, which was Cozy. And then I released my second song, which was Posted. And that kind of let me get into, I guess, a flow of what I need to do to release a song, what works, what doesn't work. And so afterward, I was just like, okay, maybe I'll release a body of work. Because there was a lot of stuff that I was just like, I'm still trying to figure it out as I go. So at that time, I was around a lot of dreamers, a lot of people making stuff happen out of nothing. And it was 2020. So we know like what was going down in 2020. So I was just like, Cozy and Posted are already like really positive but chill vibes that are laid back. And so I was like, what if I put them in a project that like just relaxes somebody and kind of helps them get away because like it's just thing after thing after thing kept happening in 2020. So I was like, we need something to chill. So I started listening through hundreds of different instrumentals on YouTube. I would save certain things that I like, and then I saw like, what can I write to, what can I not, what feels good, what doesn't. And the 10 songs, well, really 9 that I ended up saving, ended up being on The Recliner. I ended up writing to them. And so I listened through everything from top to bottom. I was very intentional about the order, and I paid attention to how I felt after every song. And I was like, okay, I'm really liking how I'm feeling after it. It's aligning and resonating with me. And so now I'm going to just put it out to the world and hope that they receive it the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was that simple, huh?
No, it wasn't. There was a lot of just like strife and getting overwhelmed in between because I feel like when you're going for something, as big as the album, especially in like a creative scene like South Carolina, it could get intimidating because you want to be successful, but you're kind of scared. But I feel like what ended up pushing me over was like, I would regret it too much if I didn't do it. And also I had friends that they were like, Nia, you have to do it. You got to put it out. So my friends believing in me definitely helped push me. And me not wanting to regret something because I was scared.
Yeah. So what? Well, clearly you didn't just start singing in 19. So
Nah.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay. So why so long? Why wait till the pandemic to put music out?
I had just graduated from college in 2018.
Okay.
So after that, I was just like, okay, let me get some money. And so I was trying to find different jobs to start because I knew like I wanted to do music, but I didn't structurally know how to make that happen.
Oh, like how to put a chorus with a verse and so.
Well, not necessarily because I'd been songwriting for a long time, but I didn't know like what do I do to release music? How do I
get it on the stream.
Yeah. So I hadn't gone through that, and my focus mainly at that time, honestly, was like paying bills. So,
adulting.
So I was like, okay, let me get accustomed to this first, because now I don't have college. I gotta get acclimated to this new lifestyle. And then somewhere in between, I was just like, it's crazy how many jobs I went through in like 2 years. And it wasn't even all my fault. Like the first company I worked for dissolved. The next company, my contract ended. I was just like, why do these jobs keep flipping? And so,
you gotta pay these bills.
Yeah. So like at one point I was just like, there was a job where I got paid really well, but it was super mundane. So I was like, there's no fulfillment. And then there was one that I really felt full from, but I wasn't making enough money. So I was just like, how can I balance like being okay with the money I make, taking care of my bills, but like really still feeling full. And so while I was working in a job that paid me the most, I was just like, okay, since I have this time and it's so mundane and slow, let me like write in between outside of watching anime, because I did that too.
You see my fingers over there. I got a couple.
Let's go. So like, it's like, I was working 2 jobs when I was working in HR. So I would do like HR. No, I wouldn't do 2 jobs. Yet after HR, I did 2 jobs. So one of my jobs was at a psychiatric residential treatment facility for kids.
Okay.
So it was like, it's where kids would come from ages 12 to 18. And it's like, it was a level after a group home, but before a psychiatric hospital or juvie.
Okay.
So we're taking them in and we're trying to like work with them psychologically on their behaviors to be better so they could either go home or just get released. And I loved that job because I really felt like I was helping the kids, I was encouraging them, and I was showing them like good people exist, because a lot of them had come from group homes, a lot of them had been adopted and just not had stability at home. And then I was also working in DSS. So it was just like a lot of stuff. And so a lot of times when I was working third shift at the psychiatric center, I'd just be like observing the kids, making sure like they were asking when they needed to change area, because we had to keep them on lock and under supervision. And so, with third shift jobs, like all you got is time.
Yeah.
And so since I would be like supervising the hallways while I was walking, I just had my notebook. I'd be listening, I'd be writing.
So you're in that jamming, writing fire songs instead of tending to these babies.
I mean, they were asleep, but you got to use what time you have, like when you're trying to go for a dream. So
okay.
Yeah.
So you wrote the whole album walking around those halls.
I wrote like 50% of it walking those halls. The other part of it was written sometimes like when it was an ungodly hour, like 2:00 in the morning, and I couldn't sleep, or like I was just having some time in my day and making time for it.
I've been there. I edit these videos at my job in between assignments.
Yeah, you got to make time for what you want to do. So I feel that.
Yes. Okay, so my favorite song off the recliner is "Fill Me Up."
Really?
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like skating ring music.
Yeah, that was intentional. Yeah, because like there have been so many ideas I've had for different music videos, but also that's something that costs money. And for the ideas that I have, like it's just like I got to make sure that I have stuff in order to see how it can happen, because I like stuff looking excellent and being excellent. So I like originally when I had the Feel Me idea, I wanted to do like a cookout music video, because I'm Greek. So I was like, if I had some people strolling, we had some different stuff going on, it'd be a cool vibe. But then I was talking to one of my sisters, and she was just like, what if we did a skate ring video?
Okay, I ain't crazy.
I'm like, yeah. But then it would just be like renting out a skate ring and getting the people together, like trying to get some line dance. And I wanted to do it like a 70s themed thing, so we would have to get costuming. And so it's just like, okay, we're really gonna have to budget this out if we're gonna make it happen. And it's still a possibility. Okay. But it's just one more, like it's more of an expensive possibility. Okay. So I gotta just prioritize like what's most efficient and can still be excellent at the time.
I have a camera, I shoot music videos.
And I found that out now, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, so my second favorite song is a tie between Cozy, and I don't know the name of the song, but it's the one where you get startled by I'm assuming a handsome young man.
Cutie.
There you go. It sounds like you're in an ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did that actually happen in real life?
No. And it's so crazy that you say that's one of the top, because top 3 I always get from people is Cozy, All Good, and Feel Me.
Okay.
So QT wasn't gonna make the album like at first, because I was like, this is cheesy. I thought it was
Black Love.
I just thought it was too corny. I was just like, but then, you know, I always have a group of ears that I let listen to stuff before I put it on a project or just put it out. And so they vibed with it. And I was like, this is a personality piece, because this is a piece of music that actually shows how I am in real life. So I kept it. But the point of QT was like, I'm a pretty confrontational person and I'm pretty straightforward, if you haven't found that out by now. And so we see a lot of songs of like guys approaching girls, like Chris being like, yeah, and all kinds of other stuff like that. So I was like, what if we did one where a girl was approaching a guy? But if you listen to the story, you end up finding out she was just playing around and they were already together.
Yeah.
So
that was cool.
It was fun. It was fun. Yeah.
So you never ran across no handsome young man at the ice cream shop?
Never. But it's like, I'm not the type to normally like stop somebody because they look good. Like, I feel like I'm quicker to try to talk to somebody because I have like a commonality with somebody. So like, if I'm at like a kickback or something and I hear somebody talking about like Anderson .Paak, I'm like, oh, you listen to Andy? You know, so,
you call him Andy, you know, first name basis.
Oh, yeah, you know, eventually, hopefully. But like people who just like find commonalities with me, like I'm like, okay, I'll start a conversation. But trying to holler at you ain't usually my first thing I do.
So you never hollered at the dude first?
Yeah, it's just like, let me try to get to know you, actually.
Okay, but then that come with hollering?
No. I'd be like, let me see where your mind is at before I actually decide that I'm attracted to you.
So ain't no such thing as a handsome idiot, I'm assuming.
You know, I feel like it depends on the person for what idiot means. Like, because I feel like you could be smart, but you ignorant. And for me, that's idiotic. Because there's too much knowledge out. But yeah, I gotta have a commonality and some kind of like-mindedness to try to approach you in some kind of way.
So you do believe in love?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you sure you're married.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I have opinions on what the world thinks of love and marriage, but me personally, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I believe in it.
Yeah.
Do you think we've lost that art in music or in life?
The belief of love and marriage? I think we've lost focus of what it really is.
Okay.
And that's something that I talk a lot about with my boyfriend and different peers. Like, social media just has this way of really masking the true essence of what things are, because we have like ultimate exposure to all kinds of things that aren't necessarily everywhere and that aren't necessarily always true. And so like the whole Cheesecake Factory thing where the girl not wanting to go out with a guy, because in my mind, like, what is wrong with Cheesecake Factory? Like, that was top tier. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I started dating, they got a big menu, like, and you get a big plate. So I don't understand. And she wasn't paying. So I was just like, this is just ignorant, because there are some people who just see that and then they start to agree with something that's ignorant. And if the point of dating is to get to know somebody and you're not even getting to the place where you can get to know somebody, then how is this really successful in us copying that example, you know?
Okay. So you don't agree with that ignorant ass list, huh?
No! Because I'm like, y'all really not trying to be with somebody. Like, y'all really trying to be single, because the big thing that I feel like we're missing is it's not about you. Like, when it comes to dating, and especially being in a long-term relationship, there are sacrifices that you have to make. And it's not just with, like, your personal things, because, of course, you have your non-negotiables. But especially if we want something long-term like marriage, you're going to have to live with that person.
Yeah.
So there are some things that you're going to have to agree to disagree on. And you're going to have to understand it's not me against you. It's us against whatever's trying to come against us. And we don't have that mindset because we're so like busy thinking about me. So it's just like, y'all are missing it, because it's not going to work if it starts off with being about you.
Okay. I think, unfortunately, we don't value much.
Yeah.
A lot of people disagree with my thought, but I think we don't value a lot of things that we should or we used to.
Yeah.
And I think that's causing the deterioration of the household. That's just
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, that's one of the things when I worked in DSS that even made me, like, view sex differently because I'm very much like a let's get to the root type of person. And so you have all these families that are just dividing and that have all these issues going on. And of course, when I was working in DSS, I worked in CPS. So I was working with Child Protective Services. And so like having to remove kids from households, like having to come in and like make plans with families to be able to keep their children, it's just like a lot of times I found that they weren't in places where they felt like they could be the best for their child.
Wow.
But with any child, like they come from sex. Yeah. So with you talking about things that we value, I don't even think there's a seriousness around sex anymore. It's just like, yo, shawty look good, she had a fat ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? So but it's just like, there's possibly a baby that can come from that, and we don't even think about that. So now it's like that decision to get your rocks off, like, came with a human being. And now y'all in a situation where you realize you don't even like the girl. So automatically we have a broken household and we're having to have people like me come in and just make terrible decisions. Well, not terrible decisions, but things that I sometimes don't like morally agree with, which is why I had to end up leaving. But yeah.
So what kind, don't tell us where you work, but what kind of work do you do now?
Oh, I do like a lot of community service work. So after 2020, like financially, I like made the decision I'm never going to put all my eggs in one basket, meaning I'm not just going to have one stream of income because we saw so many jobs like being able to just let people go. And people have been at these jobs for years, you know? So I was just like, okay, well, there's always going to be multiple flows. And so I get some money from streaming. Y'all go stream the album now. I get some money from performances, and I get some money from this nonprofit that I work for right now called Premier Arts Collective. So what we do is we're an organization that use art, like art or music, as a platform and a vehicle to help people through trauma. So what I specifically do is I work at Triune Mercy Center, which is a church, but they also have a lot of programs for unsheltered people, for people going through recovery programs. And they do a lot of like feeding people on Sundays and helping people get clothes and just jobs and all kinds of other stuff. But specifically what I do is they have an art room upstairs. So the art room has like all kinds of art supplies like paintbrushes, canvases, we have jewelry, we have clay sometimes, and it's just supposed to be a safe space for any of the parishioners to come through and create or just have a conversation.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So that's what I do, and I feel like it's going to continue evolving, but also like whenever we do community service at my church, like there are a lot of opportunities that I've had where I can go do programs. Like I did one for a women's shelter that was a self-esteem program, and we created these like small vanity mirrors. And I told y'all, okay, we have to write self-affirmations down on these. So we went through what self-affirmations were, they wrote them, and then I taught them how to use them at the end because a lot of people don't have confidence anymore. So it's challenging to look at yourself in the mirror and have to say good things about yourself.
Yeah, I tend to, I'll shit on myself before I let somebody else shit on me.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do.
It is.
Because we're taught more to do that than encourage ourselves.
Where do you think that comes from, though?
I think it's a few different places. I think part of it is what we see our parents do to themselves, because that's the first example of anything that you see. And then I think it's also like with how parents talk to you. So a lot of times you'll take the form of what you experience the most. And so if what I experience the most is people talking down to me like you ain't never gonna be shit, your daddy wouldn't like why would I think that there's something good about me? A lot of it could be from comparison in social media, like, okay, this is the standard of what's bad and what's the baddest. I don't look like that at all, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. So self-hate is so easy in all these places with family and all these industries. We don't have as many platforms that are popular for like self-encouragement and self-love.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I ain't never thought about it that way. You might be right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I be thinking.
I got some jewels and a good voice, okay?
I appreciate it.
That's true, though. I mean, because when I'm on the internet, you know what, though? I do have to say this, though. Real bodies is still hit.
They do, but
in real life, not on the internet.
Yeah. But I mean, like, we have, like, popular culture is just like, especially with what goes viral. So now, because we have systems in social media, like likes and heart, like other things that just equate to, people are approving this.
Like validation.
So approval equates to validation. So if I see this girl got 1 million likes, she half naked and she got like a body shaped like this, and she talking about my booty hole, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna take the form of what's like, because I want validation, especially if I'm not getting it in other places.
You don't think about your booty hole being brown?
Hell no. Like, I know what color that is, and the person who gonna see it gonna know, and that's all who needs to know. Like, I don't gotta talk about that.
I'm sorry.
I just feel like there's more important things to talk about.
Right.
No shade to Sexy Red, because she doing her thing. But okay, like, even going further into that though, like self-image. So Sexy Red is a brown-skinned girl.
Yeah.
And I'm a brown-skinned girl, or dark-skinned, whichever. And so if we want to talk about like stereotype, we see a lot more of brown women being seen as aggressive, being seen as being ratchet. I don't see as much about like brown women with grace, brown women who are articulate. You know what I'm saying? It's just another agenda being pushed. And so representation is super, super important, but what's mostly represented is not the positive stuff, in my opinion, you know?
Okay, so I got a weird question for you, because you said the representation. Well, I ask you this first. What category do you consider your music?
As far as?
Like neo soul, R&B? Because I have a secondary question for that.
I hate genres so much.
Okay.
Like, when people first start saying, you R&B, you like Erykah Badu, like, ooh, it used to irk my soul, because
she ain't no scrub.
Well, no, she's not. I love Erykah Badu, but it's just like, I don't want to be boxed. Like, and I know eventually I want to be able to cross all genres, because I just want to make good music. Like, the people who are inspiring to me, Stevie Wonder, Ella Fitzgerald, like Michael Jackson, like, especially Stevie Wonder and Michael, it's just like, you can't really put them in a certain genre. It's just like, you know how you feel when you listen to them. And so that's where I'm trying to go with my music. But as far as business and the music, I would put myself right now in like the neo soul, R&B, pop, hip hop category. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's really a fusion.
Okay. Would you say that typically brown skin or dark skin women tend to get lumped into that category?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Like,
that's why
Ari Lennox, Coco Jones.
I like her music too. I like I See You.
Yeah. She's dope. I didn't even think of anybody right now. The only person that I would say is like dark skin or brown, and I wouldn't say is in that category, is Normani. And
I don't know who Normani is.
She sings, "Take me for a ride, boy. Show me a wild side."
Oh yeah, I know that song. I don't know what she look like, but I like that song.
She's a dark skinned, beautiful woman, but she started in Fifth Harmony, which was more of a pop group. So I feel like she kind of had a little bit more of a like a door open where she could do more kinds of music. But like, if you think about like Billie Eilish, she's probably one of the most like out there pop stars.
I don't even know what she looks like
right now. She's white.
What is vibrating? Is that me?
It's my phone.
Oh, you good? I thought the camera was. My bad.
No, you fine. So it's not making noise. But she's an incredible songwriter. But people don't really categorize her, I feel like. And so I would love for that to be taken off eventually. As a body of work, I would say that The Recliner is more of neo-soul R&B, but the new stuff that's being worked on is very much not that.
Is it?
There's those elements that still make them like Kaydence Day and a vibe, but I would like, there are some songs that I've already written. I was like, that wouldn't be R&B. That'd be more of this, you know? So, yeah.
Do you think there might be a subconscious ceiling in the industry that they put on darker skinned black women to say you're not light enough, or you don't have enough European features, that we're going to box you into this neo soul category?
It depends because the industry is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
I spent some time in Germany when I was younger because my dad used to work at BMW. So we lived
yeah,
over
cool.
there for like 3.5, 4 years.
Oh,
And so what we found is a lot of people who got big, they had to come to Europe first. And then after they got big in Europe, then the United States wanted to like embrace them. Like Destiny's Child, like a lot of groups like that, they had to get their love from Europe. And Europe loves Black artists and Black music. Like that's why, especially in the UK, we got so many white singers coming out with Black voices.
Yeah.
Like Joss Stone, Sam Cooke, Adele. Like it's a different vibe over there. And I do think that it's a different appreciation for that kind of music. So if industry is saying, you wouldn't be well received over there, that's a load of BS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when I was thinking about it when you were saying it, only light-skinned person that I think that sings neo-soul is Sade. Or Sade, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong.
I pronounced it wrong too.
Off the top of my head, at least.
Georgia Smith, I think that's her name, is another one that I can think of. Cleo Soul, she's another one. So they're there, but I definitely could see more of the face of it usually being like a dark skinned girl because like especially when it was kind of coming into and Alicia Keys, some people consider her neo-soul. So like when I what I consider like the classic and first neo soul era, it was like your Jill Scott coming out, Angie Stone, Erykah Badu, India Arie. So I don't know. I don't know
why that is either, but that's what I was thinking about. I was like, damn, I don't really know no light skin except for Sade.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know why that is though.
I don't know.
So around what age were you in Germany?
We went there first to visit, and I think we stayed for a few months and then came back. So I was maybe like around 4 the first time, and then we came back. And then when we went again, I think I was between 5 and 6, and I don't think we came back. No. Maybe we went when I was 4, and I think we came back when I was 8 or 9.
Okay, because I was going to ask if you had a chance to do music, but you were younger. Okay.
Yeah. I learned a lot about music over there, but I didn't, like, start working on music. I always had wrote songs for, like, fun, but like I said, I didn't really seriously write anything until maybe... It was really when I was in high school, so maybe, like, 2011, 2012.
Oh, okay.
And then when I got to college... I wrote again for a project that I was working on. I never released it, but like it was my project for that class. And people vibed with it. I did.
Okay. Did you have to compose an actual song or like?
So we had like a program that was just starting for audio engineering or production class. So it was my first introduction really to working continuously with a DAW. And then we had a studio that we had just created in the basement of our library. So they were like, this is open to whoever wants to come and perform.
Okay.
So I didn't really know as much about recording. I just, as far as like running lines into actual DAW, but we had microphones. So I recorded my guitar playing microphone and then my vocal on the microphone, put it together. The mix was terrible, but it got done. You know what I'm saying? Like what I needed to get done was on there. It was just cool having that experience.
Okay, what's the name of the song that you made?
It's called When You're Ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going through a time where I was dealing with this young man.
Many years ago.
Yeah, and it was just talking about like when you're ready to like be serious and be real, like I'll be right here. But it sounded a lot more beautiful and lyrically written.
Okay, so it's your music. I know you said earlier you said you didn't run into an ice cream shop and meet a young man that you actually were already dating.
So the idea for that, like, Don't You Worry About a Thing, Stevie Wonder, like how he's having that conversation in the beginning of his song. I was like, what if I did something like that? So that was the idea for that because he was talking to somebody he had run into. But I was like, okay, so who would I be talking to? What would I run into them for? And how could it catapult me to start this song? So I was inspired by the conversation for Don't You Worry About a Thing.
Because I asked you that also because I was going to ask, since you wrote your first officially recorded song in college, are all your songs typically based on real life events, personal experiences, or?
It varies. A lot of times I'll write through my experience. A lot of times I'll like have a message in mind and then write a song based on that message. And then a lot of times I'll like just think about conversations I have with like people around me, and I'll try to write through their lens. So it just depends.
So does it get hard? Is there any aspect of writing music that becomes difficult for you?
I've like something that's been harder about this new project that I'm working on is being a little bit more vulnerable. So getting deeper and having to explore things that are personal, that does get hard. But once I like put it together, I feel really good about it because there's this new song I'm writing about. Well, it's talking about grounding. I don't want to put the name of it out there yet.
Okay.
But it's a song that depicts like getting overwhelmed with people being in your ear, like with not making enough money, with the time pressures culturally of being in a relationship, being married, having kids, and just like I just need a woosah. And so it kind of dives into that, and it was a little hard to write because just like I have to make it sound good and be cohesive in this pattern that I'm writing in, but it has to be real too. So it took a lot more time because normally I can knock a song out in a day. Like that's regularly how I write.
I don't write, Lil Weezy.
Like Taco Tuesday.
I like that song.
I like it. I don't like the production of it.
Why?
Because
who made the beat? You know, shit all over him now.
No, like the producer is great. But as I learn more about production and when I listen back to it, I'm just like,
okay, what do you not like about it? Let's not shit on it. Be very specific.
Song. It's a good song.
Trash. I like it, but
what I don't like about it is certain vocals and backgrounds aren't balanced the way I would like them to be.
Oh, so you don't like the mix on it, not the beat itself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the beat.
No, it's production stuff. And then there's also this plugin called Melodyne.
I feel like I've heard of it.
Yeah, so there are ways to use it and it can get intricate, but it's very similar in a way to auto-tune, but it doesn't have as much to do with changing your frequency to make you like sound like an alien if it's too high. It's just like correcting your pitch to another level. So it's a kind of pitch corrector.
But you can sing though.
I can, but like there are a lot of things that you can do productionally to make it sound like a heavily produced song. So I know when my voice loses its tone because it's been overproduced. And so there are parts of my tone that I feel like aren't natural because of like the production. So that personally for me was just like a small thing. Love the song, love the producer. I still put them on people, but it's just personally like not the style of production that I like. And I didn't know how to verbalize that until I started getting into producing and like having people teach me about production.
So where do you record now?
I record in my home studio
and
my boyfriend's home studio because he's a producer.
Okay, so. Can he get a shout out on his production name?
Yes, shout out to Maestro Productions. I love you, baby. But
Maestro.
Yes, Maestro. But he's fantastic. Like the way I first learned about him was he had made a song with my homegirl, Kylie Odetta. Shout out to Kylie Odetta. And it was like this really cool, like laid back R&B type hip hop song. And it had this really cool guitar sample. And I was familiar with Kylie's music because I used to sing background for her. So I heard this. I was like, this is very different, but it's a vibe. And so I saw his name on it, and it said Productions. I was like, wait, so is he a producer?
Right.
Because I was learning about different producers, and there's a certain style that I wanted. So I was like, let me see where he's at, what kind of stuff he does. And I loved his style. Like, he had a great ear. And I was like, oh, I got to work with him. So before I even knew him, like I was just like, I just want to work with a dude because he's dope. But what I've learned about what I love doing is something called vocal stacks. So I love putting a whole bunch of harmonies in. But there's like there is a magic and a craft to being able to mix your vocals beautifully, making them mesh and have the volumes right. And not a lot of people do that anymore because you have so many hip hop producers. Right. And so you can't produce a hip hop song the way you produce like something that's melodic and has a lot of harmonies in it. And so that's part of my journey with finding a producer to work with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you make your songs now, do you go in with, hey, this is the key or the melody? Do you go in there and sing, say the hook, and then have somebody build the beat around it, or you find a beat and write to it, or a little bit of both? Or
Right now, I find stuff that I like still, and my boyfriend will just send me stuff he's working on. I was like, can I have that? And then I'll be like, what's your price? Because I still want to respect him as a businessman.
So you're saying as your boyfriend send you something and then you be like, oh, can I have that? But you pay him?
Yeah. So my process normally is like listening and finding something that resonates with me and then writing to it. So normally like the track is first and then the lyrics. I've had times where like I come up with lyrics first and I hear it in my head how the track sounds. But like I've never been one to be able to transfer like the thought to a DAW, and that's what I'm working on.
What you mean?
So like being able to hear the drum and the instruments in my head and actually put it in a song format.
Oh, so it's exactly like what you hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something that my boyfriend can do and a lot of other great producers can do that I just admire so much because it's like you can literally transfer music from your head to physically being able to hear it, and that's incredible. So eventually I would like to be able to do that. If I'm not like a full studio producer, which I don't have to be, at minimum, I would like to at least be able to make a scratch track to send to a producer.
Kind of like a reference?
Yeah.
Okay.
And be able to just vocally produce myself.
Okay.
Because I have a certain way that I like my vocals sounding. But my process with working with producers has always been like, I have my instrumental, I have my demo. Like I record my vocals, I record my backgrounds. They're not balanced. But I always have a track before I go and record with a producer.
So you can go, hey, I wanted to sound something like this in this round.
Yeah, and I don't want to waste time. Like if I'm paying for studio time, like why would I not already have my stuff together?
A lot of people do it though.
They do, and then it comes out of their pockets. More power to them.
Well, I've had some studios way back in the day, not no time recently. And I've had people show up and be like, this the beat. I got my hook, punch me in. I'm like, bruh, I'm not sitting here for 4 hours while you punch in every other line. Like, that's not productive.
Yeah. And I'm super big on being productive and efficient. Yeah, that's how I normally approach it. No shade, no tea. If you got a different process, and you got the money for it, do what you want to do.
Or if you got an in-home studio.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's just not my flow.
Okay, so you play guitar, from my assumption and what you told me.
So when I was in 4th grade, I started off playing cello. I wanted to play upright bass, which was the big one, but I wasn't tall enough yet. So
you tall as shit. You almost tall as I am.
And so 5th grade, I grew more, and I switched to upright bass, and I played that through college. Okay. So that was my like primary instrument. But I read and I was classically trained. And then I started playing a little bit of electric bass in college.
Oh, you play for real? Okay. Classically trained
with upright bass, yes. With electric bass, like I could figure something out. Okay. And I started playing guitar in high school for a senior project that I was working on because we had to challenge ourselves to do something we had never done. And I was like, well, I've never played guitar, so let me try to play a song on guitar. And I did, and I just loved the way it felt and singing with it. So I continued it. I don't practice it as much as I should.
You got a whole acoustic song on that's you playing, right?
It is. It is. But I just feel like I could be better if I did more. And that's on me. It is.
Okay, so it seems like you just run into these projects that are like, music, do it.
What you mean?
School projects and different things that challenge you.
Yeah.
Is that by design or like literally it's coincidence?
It just happens. It's so weird. In college, I was taking a music class because I was a music major, so we had to do something. But like, I can remember myself doing a whole bunch of raps in high school.
So you can rap too?
Stuff. Self-proclaimed MC.
Okay.
But I always just like music was an easy way for me to understand stuff and communicate stuff. So it always just made it fun and easy for me.
So music is your outlet as well as trying to understand what's going on around you.
Yeah. It was also like one of my first friends because when I was growing up, like there were a lot of times where I might have felt lonely because I grew up with 2 older brothers. So I was always the only girl in the household. And I was just trying to find my space navigating just different things. And so there was a lot of times where I might not be able to express myself, but I could find a song that like embraced me and helped me like get in touch with what I was feeling and helped me go through whatever emotion that I was going through.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Because, I mean, I've come to realize that we spend a lot of time listening to music, regardless of what type of music we listen to. But we spend, as human beings, we listen to music at the gym, in the car, at work, pretty much all day long.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that paints the soundtrack to our lives.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
So what do you listen to do you listen to yourself or do you listen to other people or both?
I listen to all kinds of stuff.
What's the weirdest genre you listen to? I know you don't like that word, but you're just, for streaming purposes.
I don't even know if I could remember the genre if I told you.
Okay, what'd you listen to when you pulled up?
I was listening to one of my new songs that's going to be on my new project.
Hey!
I was listening to the demo for it, and I'm really excited about how it's sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, I'll listen to myself heavily when I'm preparing a project, or if I just want to go back and kind of do like a check, because my mark of artistry and how great of an artist I am is if my music always slaps. So if it's timeless. So there are times where I'll go a long time without listening to the recliner or any of my music. And then somebody will tell me, hey, I just listened to your song. Somebody's just getting put on where you been? I had no idea.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And I was just I appreciate it. And I'll be like, wait, how do I actually sound though? And so I'll go back and I'll be like, oh, this does slap. So it makes me happy when I can go back and vibe to myself.
Didn't we just talk about it? We got to give ourselves positive affirmation.
We do.
You put it out. It must not be too bad.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm very particular about what I put out, but I'm also very much achiever. So it's just once I get that done, then that's done. So I'll go back and listen to it, especially because I got to perform, so I got to review my stuff. But I don't as much listen to it for the purpose of vibing. Unless somebody's oh, I listen to it and I go back and I'll be like, this is a vibe. Okay. I'll listen to it for okay, this is how production was then. This is how I sang that, but I might change this it's just analytical purposes.
So you're over there self-assessing instead of just jamming.
That's the only way you can get better.
No, because there's certain songs that you feel me, you be singing. Excuse me. And it sounds like you don't mind playing with your voice with different runs and stuff. I like that. Is that on purpose too?
I appreciate it. It's very much on purpose.
Okay.
Overall, I'm just trying to sound good. So if I do something creative and I'm I like how that sounds. I'll leave it for maybe a day and come and listen to it with fresh ears. And then I'll be like, oh, that was trash. I got to put that away. Or I'll be like, that was actually cool. And then my next step is sending it to people whose ears I really trust. And they'll be like, okay, this is what I like, or this is what could be better. And normally if they talk about the mix being better, I'll be like, okay, but you vibe with the song though, because I know the mix is going to get there.
Right. That's a process. You got to hear it in the car. You got to hear it in your headphones. You got to hear the different environments to make sure it sounds right.
Yeah. But there are a lot of songs that on this next project, I'm playing with a lot of different stuff, but it's stuff that I signed off on. I was like, it made it. Because for me, the biggest person that got to make it through is me. And if it don't, it's not going on a project. Yeah, it's not going on a project if I don't like it. There are so many songs that did not make the recliner that got recorded.
Tell me a song, give or take.
Tell me the song?
No, how many songs, give or take?
I'd say maybe 5 to 7. Yeah. One of them I only recorded in the studio, thank God, because I would have hated wasting studio money on something that was on the project.
You only recorded one in the studio.
Yeah, the other ones I just recorded my demos too. But I was just it's not fitting. And the recliner, for me, it had to be relaxed. So I didn't want to talk about anything that made me feel unrelaxed. And because then I would be there's a possibility that it makes somebody else who's listening feel unrelaxed.
What would define an unrelaxing song? Some turn up shit or? Not
turn up, but some breakup type stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not me being laid back to think about a breakup. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you might be punching the air a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there was a song specifically that I can remember that I recorded in the studio, and it was called "I'm Moving On."
Sound like a breakup.
Yeah, but it was just a triumphant breakup. But I was just it's still a breakup, so I don't want to talk about that on the recliner. So I cut it.
Okay, so can I hear it? Not in this moment, but can I hear it?
If I could find it, yeah.
Oh, Lord. See them bamboozle me. Mm.
No, it's it's somewhere. I got another laptop now, so it was on the old laptop.
Okay, so it's in the Google Drive and the cloud somewhere?
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay, so what's the name of your current coming project?
So the project is going to be called With Gratitude.
Hey,
Yeah.
we get the scoops in here.
Yes.
So why is it called With Gratitude?
I haven't. Well, yeah. You asked me another question a long time ago, and I didn't answer it yet on purpose.
Wow.
But you asked me why it's been so long since I've dropped some music, and there have just been like a lot of life things that I needed to deal with before I started planning for a project again. Because right now, like I'm an independent artist. So when you're an independent artist, you got to do everything yourself. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time. So in between the last project, like I don't work in corporate America anymore, so I don't make like corporate America money. I moved back here because I was not living here. I had to readjust, find new community here, kind of get in my flow here, and just really like find a lot of things with myself. I went through like a faith journey where God showed me a lot of things and where I grew in relationship with Him. And I was really upset when I moved back because I felt like I was leaving a lot of stuff.
Where'd you move back here from?
So I moved back here from Fort Mill, Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Ain't that far.
It's 2 hours-ish, but like I have my community of friends from college there. Like, we'd gather, we'd have game nights, we'd have stuff to do, we'd go out. I had my own job. I had my own place, which was really big for me because I'm super, I was very independent. So I like being able to have my own, create my own atmosphere, create my own space. And I like hosting stuff too.
Me too.
So I moved back here. I moved with my mom and I was just like, oh my gosh, love my mom. And I'm very blessed to have a parent who allowed me to move back with them. But I was just like, I had my, it was just like a lot of pride that I had to let go of. And then in between time, I was like, okay, some of the friends, I'm not hearing as much from because I'm not there anymore. So it was just like, who is actually my friend and who's not? And so there was a lot of that I had to go through. But through it all, coming now, to the end of 2023, at something that I used to be so upset at, I'm so grateful for now because now I'm working in community service where I'm getting a check, which is nice, but also I'm so fulfilled because I get to touch people from different walks, every day when I go into work. Hearing their stories, talking with homeless people when you go into work, you can't help but have gratitude.
Yeah, because I ain't homeless.
You know what I'm saying? And just some of the situations that they've even triumphed from, them coming in and smiling, with their situation. If I wouldn't have moved back home, I wouldn't become a so far artist. If I wouldn't have come back home, a so far artist, so far sounds, is one of my new things I'm doing. If I wouldn't have come back home, I wouldn't have met my boyfriend.
Okay, Big Daddy.
Yeah. If I wouldn't have come home, I probably wouldn't have connected with you and met with you. So it's just
high five.
all of these opportunities that are now opening up. It's just sometimes it takes the breaking for the new things to be formed. And so I'm really grateful. And I was like, this new journey has been filling me with gratitude. So this project is kind of like a thank you letter to God and just to all the people and the new things that I've had happen in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big shit popping.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, do you have and I'm not going to say that a solid this is the day it's coming out, but do you have kind of a soft release date?
It's so crazy that you're saying that. I was plotting everything out yesterday because I was brainstorming. It's going to be late summer, early fall.
Okay, so what kind of vibe does it have? Is it upbeat? Is it?
It is a vibe.
That is entirely too vague.
I know, for great reason. There are upbeat songs on there. That's one of the ones I was listening to on the way here. There are a lot of fusion songs. I got a funk trap song. And I've had a funk trap song.
I heard you first. I'm going to say it one more time. A funk
trap song.
What's that mean?
So, you know, like the 70s vibe, like think of Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak and their whole thing that they did with their project. It's kind of like that with the funk, like a lot of slap and bass, some horns, which I love horns. I was very happy. Yeah, but you also got like your trap beat. So you got your sub in there, you got your hi-hat. So yeah, it's gonna be a cool, different vibe, but it's gonna be a good one. And then you have some laid back, soulful stuff. I'm excited about my features on this one.
Yeah, because you literally have one feature.
On the last one, yeah.
Why
Somebody,
is that? And how'd you meet this one rapper to put on the whole project?
So in college, when some people started finding out that I could sing and play guitar, there was this poet that did a lot of stuff on campus because we had like a lot of open mics and a lot of opportunities for us to just like show talent. And so there was this guy that I connected to. He's part of my fan. Shout out to the Alphas. So I'm an AKA.
I saw the pink and green.
You know what I'm saying? He's A5.
It's about 5 women in my family that are AKA.
Oh, that's a beautiful
6.
thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing. But we had connected and I'd heard him spit, but he had never heard me sing. So after he heard me sing, he's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then I had another friend who sang and he also rapped. So the guy who was a poet also rapped. He's like, "Yo, we got to put a group together, do something sometime."
Okay. Fuji's or something, yeah.
You know, and one of the things I did on campus a lot is I would just go to like a public social area and I just play guitar and start singing with some friends, and then other people would just flock over and start either listening or singing.
People like listening to good music now.
Yeah.
So you had your case open collecting money?
No, you know, we were just having jam
You're a college
sessions.
student. Hey, I got to get this tuition.
But they were in college too, you know, so we was all broke. But we just have jam sessions, and so one day, like, we all collaborated, and we did a song for the talent show, like our big homecoming talent show. And we were supposed to win, but there was some profanity said that we didn't know we weren't supposed to say.
Okay, so no cuss words?
Nah, apparently. And we didn't find that out till later on.
That's that bullshit, but okay.
It was one. It was just one word. And we told the dude, "Don't say it." And he said it because he was just feeling it. We were like,
What, the N-word?
But what made it, no, it wasn't. It was the B word.
Oh, okay.
But what made it worse was like one of the judges was like, "Yo, y'all were supposed to win." And it was like, why did he tell us that?
Yeah, you should have just said we lost on technicality.
I'm
that's
saying. So we got a standing ovation and everybody was vibing. And so after that, we kind of continued it. We did different places. But, you know, eventually, like, they were a couple years ahead of me. So he graduated. The other person graduated. And we were still close and talking, but we didn't continue with that outside of college. So I was like, I need a rapper on All Good. And I just knew how he flowed because he's amazing. And so I was like, "Hey, can you hop on this real quick for me?" He's like, "Yeah." So he did what he did, and he did what I expected. And I mean, he filled the space that I needed. So yeah, that's how that came to be. We knew each other. Shout out to Jay Manning. I think that's his artist name right now. So
what features what are some of the features you have on this one?
There's a rapper.
In this area?
Yep, there's I don't want to disclose names yet. But there's a rapper who also sings, but he'll probably be rapping. Okay. And there's another rapper who also sings from Spartanburg, also incredible.
Who is that?
And, you know, not disclosing names yet. And then there's this female MC. I'm so happy because I've been wanting to work with a female artist, like female rapper forever. She's from Chicago. So.
But she's here?
No, she's not here.
Oh, so it's an internet relationship. Okay.
Yeah, it's a social media relationship. But me and her, like, we be talking. Like, so, yeah.
So what's that song about? Niggas ain't shit?
It's not. It's the goal of it is to be a female empowerment song. Okay. Yeah.
How do you make a female empowerment song without it being corny?
We'll see. We will see.
Oh, Lord. All right. So tell us the name of the album one more time.
With Gratitude.
Hey, With Gratitude. All right. And you said it's going to be summer, fall? Between August and October, more than likely. Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for your time. And how do people find you in the world? So you can find me on all major streaming platforms at Kaydence Day. If you want to find me on social media, my Instagram is at Kaydence Day Official. My Facebook is at Kaydence Day Official. I have a website, KadenceDay.com. Spell it for them because we don't read. Kaydence. So Kaydence,
Kaydence space DAY. And if you want to find all of the things, they're located on my website and on my Instagram.
You got merch too?
So I have merch in the making. I have stickers right now, and I have some wristbands that are coming in.
Okay. I want some merch too, but I'm just lazy. I don't want this big ass logo on some shit.
You should do it. You should do it.
What I want to do is give people a shirt to take with them.
Yeah.
But they ain't free to make.
It's not. I mean, you got to have a for-profit somewhere so you can have a non-profit somewhere else.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then. So why is your artist name and your actual name? Which one is your actual name? The one that's in my phone?
Nia is my real name.
I was going to say it. I ain't want to put it all on blast.
My stage name is Kaydence Day. So I'm classically trained. I'm a musician at heart. And there is a music term called a cadence. You might hear rappers talk about it sometimes. But essentially a cadence is the breath of the music.
Okay.
And then a day is bright. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big jazz fan. So, I love like names that just sound expensive. So like Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra. I'm just like, I love that vibe. So I took the day part and I was like, that sounds like a good ender because I played with a whole bunch of names. And then just like Kaydence, I was just like, I love how that sounds. I could hear it being called. And I feel like it feels like me. So Kaydence Day, a bright breath of air.
Okay.
You feel me?
Okay. Thank you so much for coming. I was very excited for this. I've been listening to the music and I'm like, 2020, fuck that place. I'm just saying.
I got featured songs that came out in between. Because Real Deal came out last year. That's the song with Maestro Productions. And that was an award-nominated song.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I had Kissing You with K9, The God.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I gotta send it to you. That came out last year as well. It's a really good song. K9's amazing. That's the bro. And then I had another song with Jamal St. Clair come out called Adore You. That's a really personal, very beautiful song.
Yeah, I need you to send me them because I just found The Real Deal and I found Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
Okay, I appreciate this.
Not a problem.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for showing up on time because niggas don't be on time.
We don't do that.
Unfortunately, she asked me to be on camera. I asked her to do the interview. She said only if I'm on camera.
Tell them to do this more.
Well, this is year 2, so this is my new backdrop. It says my big ass head is in the way, but if you can see it, this is year 2. So yeah, this is what it looks like going forward, dagnabbit.
Let's go.
So I'm here. So yeah. So I appreciate you motivating me. Had to get this signed literally today. I got it at 12 o'clock. Ran up here.
Oh, man.
Put it up. Yeah.
So, I appreciate you. This has been fun. It's been nice looking you in the face as you talk to me.
You would have still been looking at me in the face.
But they wouldn't have been able to see the face. So everybody won.
All right. Thank you for watching. We out.